was at SPI, I took to Globe. I have a style, I guess, that I try to get people very passionate about their jobs. I just lay the groundwork. People don't care about the company. There's nothing to begin with, right? There's nothing to start from. So I felt here we had to re-inject that, get people caring. And that's why we have these campaigns at Globe called the I Love Globe campaign, the Globe Way. A lot of it really actually came from me. I want it very simple, Even our vision and mission, the vision is happiest customers and happiest employees. Simple. And when you get there, it becomes very profitable. When you have a happy customer and a happy employee, you will no doubt, because if the customer is happy, they will provide money to the company, right? They will support the company, makes the employees happy, makes the shareholders happy. That's what we call the circle of happiness at Globe, right? It keeps spinning, right? So, but we started with the one thing: we had to create engaged employees first. So we started engaging our employees by making them, part of the journey.
So yeah, why is this framed?
No, this was a shirt.
A place of honor is reserved for this framed T-shirt given to the CEO by his Visayan team.
They were one of the first people that I recruited to kind of help us bring the company back.
Globe's trilingual customer service hotline includes Visayan. So in the end, this really, you see a result in the bottom line when you do this?
Absolutely.
Can you quantify it though?
We go for 1 billion pesos of savings in terms of process improvement per year, quantified with this program.
Quantified?
Yes. It has to be validated by our finance people.
By keeping your employees happy, you save 1 billion?
That's one program that helps make employees or create an empowerment feeling among the employees. Yes. Right. And and that's been going on for 4 years. It's well documented.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah. So we're creating a lot of these partnerships with we try not to call them vendors anymore because we're trying to call them as partners because they're really partners in our business. A lot of these guys depend on Globe for their livelihood.
When you came in, there's this story also of how you went incognito to a mall to find out how they were selling your products.
One was to send a message first to the people that they should all go out. Because, you cannot run a business from the ivory tower. I feel that, the business is best learned on the ground. I go out there and I talk, say, ano bang hinahanap ng customer sa'yo? Ano bang mabenta? Madali ba maintindihan ang produkto ng Globe? Kamusta ang kalaban? Ganyan, di ba? Ano mahirap ba makipag-usap sa Globe? Pumupunta ba ang sales rep namin dito sa inyo? Gaano kadalas kayo binibisita? Nagpupunta pa kayo sa mga aming salo-salo sa Globe? So it's really about listening to your partners, listening to your customers, that you learn about the business and you can make changes to improve.
So it had to take an outsider to see these things.
My career here, at some point, someone has to take over and bring in new ideas again. You'll be stale after a while. That's one of the biggest fears, that I'll be stale after a while. And yeah, going back to that story, we created this thing about you can now choose how much do I want to spend a month, what do I want in that spend, right? And then you can choose from whatever handset you want. You just pay the difference, right? I just couldn't figure out why phone companies, this month, you had to buy this particular phone. You don't go to a restaurant and say, okay, mom, today you'll only have this to eat. Right? And if you look at what happened in that particular segment, the postpaid segment, our business has now, number of subscribers now more than doubled in just 2 years. Where they thought it was a mature market, suddenly, wow, we're seeing record acquisition numbers quarter on quarter. And it's still continuing.
Next, on People. Failure interrupts Ku's phenomenal success as an entrepreneur.
Yes, it was actually more devastating for your ego.
It's his entrepreneurial spirit, instilled at a young age, that injected a new breath of life into Globe. Ernest Lim Ku was born May 13, 1960 to Abraham Ku and Lucy Lim. His father owned a small gas station, eventually moving into the automotive air conditioning business. Did you imagine yourself, sitting in a CEO chair like you are now?
No, I don't think I ever did. Because at that point, I wanted to be an entrepreneur because my dad was an entrepreneur. And, you know, coming up from a, you know, Chinese upbringing, you know, basically Chinese, it was all about owning your own business. During my teenage years, I actually got involved in the business. Because, you know, I love tinkering with things. You know, I'm basically a gadget geek, car geek, and all this. I was so much into cars when I was younger.
Koo studied at the Kellogg Graduate School of Management at the Northwestern University, but while completing his MBA, economic conditions back home soured, and Koo was forced to shift course.
When I left for the U.S. in 1982, it was really with every intention to come back here and take over the family business or start my own in this country. It was the Ninoy Aquino assassination in 1983 that made the MBA student remain in the U.S. to look for a job. Koo ended up staying there for 16 years. His first job was with a U.S. bank. Ironically, the bank at that time that I worked for put me in a division that did outsourced services. So, you know, if you look at the career, there was the background there. Then that followed through with, I moved on to a large restaurant chain where I handled a large systems development project.
So nothing is by accident. Do you believe that in life? You know, there are things that happen that prepare you for challenges that you'll never know will come, no? In the future?
I think it's up to you to weave it. You know, I don't think there's any pre-planning. But at some point in time, you take what you have learned in the past and weave it into an advantage for the future.
Then Ernest Koo made his first foray into entrepreneurship.
The Macintosh was blazing a new trail of in the graphic arts field. It was changing the way people were doing graphic arts, then typesetting and printing. And I felt we could ride that wave, and we did. You know, I entered with an